contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, it doesn't matter who the host is.
Well, that is the truth. It sure is. It sure is. Anyways, today's Wednesday, September the 15th of 2021, day 258th of the year, and only 107 days left to go before we see the end of the well, we're calling 2021, which it seems just like an extended version of 2020, if you really think about it. Anyways, we're broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, coming across the multiverse of Safety FM. And then, of course, we're hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place. Other place. Are you working? Are you working? Radio. Yep, hanging out with our friends at Radio Big. Yeah, that's what's going on this morning. So a lot of stuff going on this week, as we have been talking all around and about and all that kind of fun stuff, so don't worry about that. We're not going to complain about tech and all that fun stuff, because I think we could be here all day in regards of actually doing that, because it's an easy thing to do. So here's what I'm going to tell you. If you have anything to say, 866-930-SFM1. 866-930-SFM1. It will get you a lot quicker into what we're trying to do, because for some reason, well, the boxy works when it wants, and then it works when it doesn't want to, and all that kind of fun stuff too. The fun part is that when we were taking a look at some of this stuff, for some reason we were getting messages that were like behind, like even outside of the show. So I'm not sure what's going on. So let me not get into that too much. So let's start talking about some things that are going on inside of the world, talking about the top fiction and nonfiction books currently on the New York Times bestseller list. So according to what's going on inside of the fiction category, at number 5, The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Number 4, The Madness of Crowds. At number 3, Billy Summers. At number 2, It Ends With Us. That's what she said. At number 1, A Slow Fire Burning. Okay, maybe I just added to some of that titling there. Okay, in the nonfiction category, The Sisters of Ashwicks. At number 4, The Long Slide. At number 3, The Body Keeps the Score. At number 2, so this went down from last week, American Marxism. And at the number 1 spot in the nonfiction category is The Afghanistan Papers. Yes, The Afghanistan Papers. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of there. So what's going on with you? Anything fun and interesting and exciting and all that stuff? I'm just asking the question to ask, of course, because I always think that those things are important. If not, it kind of gets a little oogle boogle if you're not too careful around there. In regards of not asking that question. You see, it seems like something that we would just have to talk about all the time in regards of what's going on with you, because it's the most important part of the show. It is. It really is. Without talking to you and understanding what's going on, what's the point of me sitting here? We're here to talk about what is going on inside of the world, but we also sit around and talk about the most important person. Who's you? So let's not forget that as we're doing these throughout any particular point. So don't forget about that. Anyways, let's get to our friends at Feature Story News, because I think that that's important. Let us hear what's going on inside of the news world. Yes, the news world, because somebody has to give you some news that you don't care about, and maybe we should just do that right now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Californians head to the polls on Tuesday for the recall election of Governor Gavin Newsom. It's only the second recall election in the state ever. From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Californians head to the polls on Tuesday for the recall election of Governor Gavin Newsom. It's only the second recall election in the state ever to qualify for the ballot. The previous recall resulted in actor Arnold Schwarzenegger becoming governor. Rachel Silverman reports from Oakland.
California voters are answering two questions. First, if Governor Newsom should be recalled, and second, who should replace him? The leading contender is controversial conservative radio talk show host Larry Elder. Nearly 46 others are on the ballot, including celebrity Caitlyn Jenner. Newsom's critics say they're unhappy with the pandemic orders that shuttered schools and businesses because of COVID-19. Recent polls show Newsom is likely to survive the attempt to remove him from office.
The southwestern Chinese city of Putian is ramping up restrictions as it battles a new COVID outbreak. State media calls the situation serious and complex as the city braces.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. A Republican-led effort to recall California's governor has failed. Democrat Gavin Newsom will retain his job. Rachel Silverman reports from Oakland in California.
Democrats in the most populous state in the United States closed ranks for a victory against a small grassroots movement that had tried to recall Governor Gavin Newsom. While Newsom's handling of the pandemic galvanized the recall movement, exit polls indicate voters ultimately approved of Newsom's decisions in addressing it. The state has one of the highest vaccination rates and one of the lowest rates of new virus cases, which the governor argued to voters were a result of his vaccine and mask requirements. A Trump-supporting conservative radio talk show host who promised to do away with mask and vaccine mandates was the frontrunner in the field of challengers. Rachel Silverman, Oakland.
South Korea says the North has fired 2 ballistic missiles off its east coast. Japan's described the latest launch as outrageous. Pyongyang also tested a cruise missile earlier this week. Contaminants have been found in 5 unused vials of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine in 3 cities across Japan. Officials have asked Pfizer to analyse the substances. Phoebe Amoroso reports from FSN Tokyo.
White floating matter was found in vials in 2 cities near Tokyo and 1 in Osaka Prefecture. All vials belong to the same lot number. The 3 cities are continuing to use doses from the same batch after checking each vial for contaminants. The news comes after the Health Ministry suspended 1.63 million doses of Moderna vaccine last month after foreign substances were discovered in several vials. More than 50% of Japan's population has now received 2 doses of the COVID vaccine, and the country is set to overtake the US. The government has secured 50 million more doses of Moderna for next year and is looking ahead to administering 3rd doses as booster shots. Phoebe Amoroso, Tokyo.
Inflation in the UK has seen its biggest jump since records began in 1997. The Consumer Prices Index hit 3.2% in the year to August, up from 2% in July. The Office for National Statistics says rising food costs were a major factor. Senior investments analyst at Hargreaves Lansdown, Susanna Streeter, says the Bank of England will be paying close attention to whether this is a temporary spike or something it needs to address.
For months, members of the Monetary Policy Committee, this influential committee that sets rates at the Bank of England, have been reading from the same menu, underlining that high prices should be transitory. But now we have this increase in producer prices, shipping costs show little sign of cooling, commodity prices are heating up, and vacancies are tipping 1 million, so there could be a bit of a mess of a hot dinner arriving on their plates to sort out.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
You know how sometimes in life you have those moments of shoulda, coulda, woulda, you know what I'm talking about. It happens all the time to people. So let's talk about that very sensitive subject of male pattern baldness. Don't go through that moment where you're going, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Let's talk about my friends at Keeps. 2 out of 3 men experience some form of hair loss by the time they are 35. With more than 50 million men in the U.S. suffer from male pattern baldness. You don't have to be one of them. Think about this. There are only 2 FDA-approved medications that can prevent hair loss, and my friends at Keeps offer both. Keeps offers simple, stress-free way for you to keep your hair. Convenient virtual doctor's consultations and medication delivered straight to your door. I mean, I have to tell you, just for the whole sake of not having to leave your house to have the consultation, that should sell itself. But the low-cost treatments start just as low as $10 per month, and Keeps offers generic versions. Discreet packaging and proven results. Keeps has more 5-star reviews than any of its competitors. I want you to think about that. People love the product. Prevention is key. Treatment can take 4 to 6 months to see results, so act fast. All you have to do to take action to prevent hair loss is to go to keeps.com. That's KEEPS.com/safety to receive your first month of treatment for free. That's keeps.com, KEEPS.com/safety to get your first month free. That's KEEPS.com/safety. Remember, not everybody has such a beautiful head as mine. So don't be saying coulda, shoulda, woulda. Act on Keeps right now.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. Look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Hamilton the Pug, Instagram star, and shelter pet. Amazing adoption stories start in shelters. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the right seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open, don't speak with your mouth full, keep your elbows off the table. Share your things, play nice, and generally treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing. After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak. My name is Julius Gaines, creative writer, poet, photographer.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Rated R Safety Show. Sarcastic? Never.
Oh, never, never, never will we be as sarcastic as we once could be. Anyway, so there you go. A lot of stuff going on in the news, as you heard. Yes, this thing was kind of blowing up this morning, so I apologize about that. The news kind of went into a weird sequence there, so it gave you yesterday's news and today's news all at one time. What? What is this? Oh, well, that's very nice. Some people will never. I don't. Let's not get a little scary. News is all over the place this morning. Oh, well, thanks for catching it. I appreciate that. But yes, it was all over the place. Let's not lie. Let's keep it as real as possible. Because when there is a mess up, we're going to talk about it. Because if we don't talk about it, then we're just kind of being a little squirmy there. So that's for sure. So let's continue talking about some things that are going on inside of the world. Brandy Laundrie, the boyfriend of the missing Long Island woman, Gabby Petito, or should I say Brian Laundrie, issued a statement via his attorney yesterday. I understand that a search has been organized for Miss Petito into the Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming. It is our hope that the search of Miss Petito is successful and that I feel that she is reunited with her family, he said in the statement. Not reunited with me and her family, but reunited with her family. Laundrie, who has been traveling across the country with Petito, has retained a lawyer and is refusing to cooperate with authorities. Worth noting, some outlets are referring to Laundrie's and Petito's fiance, but the engagement has never been confirmed. Hold on. Is that a shot? I'm not sure what you're talking about. There's a lot of things there, Charlie. Is that a shot at the hashtag SJALIRL? Not sure what you're referring to. I don't think that they had anything to do with the Brandy Laundrie or Long Island Gabby Petito story. But thanks for asking. I do appreciate it. Thanks for coming into the box first thing in the morning. What? Safety FM, making safety great again. I think that's somebody else's slogan, but thank you for making that particular reference, LinkedIn user. I can't see who you are, just so you know. So no clue, but thanks for sharing the information. See, this is where the boxy gets kind of strange, so I'm not sure what's going on this morning, but thanks for the insights. And it kind of, I normally get the world of the weird coming from the Twitch Nation, so don't get me wrong there. But thanks for coming in from the LinkedIn side of the house this morning. Anyways, let's continue talking. General Motors is investing $50 million over the next 4 years to help improve access to education in Detroit, employment opportunities, and city neighborhoods. So the automaker announced yesterday that it is working with the city with initiatives, and the funding will go through Detroit-based nonprofits. So there you go. Last year's GM funded 57 projects in Detroit that impact more than 250,000 people. So there you go. I don't think anyone will be at Jay's level. I don't even know what the hell that means, but I appreciate the comment, I think. And when you say level, what does that mean? I'm about 6'2", so I'm not that tall. When it's all said and done. So, yeah, that's the only level I got going on. You see, I get way too distracted about these messages, so I had to stop looking at them. That's for sure. Can't Safety FM is not at the conference. Can't Safety FM is not at the conference. I think there's a word missing there. Can't what? So there you go. Oh, thank you. Okay, so it seems like we're getting some Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs going on. Are you speaking at any safety conference this week? No, I am not. I am not speaking at any safety conference. Well, I am not speaking at any safety conference this week that is available to the general public. Maybe that's the better wording that I should use. So there you go. Let's continue talking. Oh my, I can't even believe that I'm going down this rabbit hole at 18 minutes past the top of the hour. Sorry about that. We just became a Twitch show. So let me kind of backtrack for a moment, and let's get back to the normal of the side of the radio show, because that's what we need to be doing. Unidentified Holocaust victims whose remains were discovered this summer in a building that was within the Warsaw Ghetto during the World War II was laid to rest yesterday. The burial took place in Warsaw Jewish Cemetery with leaders of the Kaddish, the Jewish prayer for the dead. The remains discovered due to water main break are believed to belong to a Jewish individual that had been hiding when German forces crushed the Warsaw Ghetto back in 1943. The area was later rebuilt on top of the rubble. So there you go. So he hasn't been in the news for a while, so let's talk about this real quick. Derek Chauvin and 3 other former officers involved in the death of George Floyd were arraigned in federal court yesterday. Thomas Lane, Jay Kuhn, and Tao were all indicted in May and charged with failure to provide medical care for Floyd as Chauvin kneeled on him, and all pleaded not guilty. Derek also pleaded not guilty. All 4 men appeared in the hearing remotely, including Derek, who was in a room at a maximum security prison where he is serving a 22.5-year prison sentence. So a lot of stuff still to be said about that, so let's not lie. I mean, just the world of the weird does continue to go on there. I mean, it is what it is. You know this. I know this. So we talk about it all the time. So just some stuff to think about as we are hanging out on this lovely morning, for sure.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
So a lot of love coming in this morning inside of the box. So I don't know what's going on. I really don't. Thanks for making my morning great. So there you go. Thank you. What do you mean Austin has been stupid without you? What do you mean Austin's a great city? No, really, Austin is a great city. Thank you, Tony Garcia, for that one. But I'm pretty sure that Austin is still a great place. So thank you for that, for sure. But yeah, I mean, let's not open the box there, because I think that if we do that, you know how it goes. We can get into some trouble in regards to some of the things that we could be saying. Now, listen, I'm going to tell you. Let's shoot, because that's what we want to do here. Apparently, that's where we're leading this morning. So let's talk about it. Listen, there's a lot of people that are in Austin that are there because they are safety professionals, and they are hanging out at an event in Austin. And hey, more power to them. Seriously, more power to them. I think that any time that you can talk about the industry and help spread the information about what should be going on in the industry, I'm with you. It looks like that the event organizers are taking precautions on the things that are going on and are requiring masks and where they're inside of the hallways and all that kind of fun stuff. So as long as protocols are being put into place and people are using reason, and there is, a much needed, let's see, it's much needed for you to be able to obtain the information, and you can actually go out there and be there. I get it. I mean, it makes sense of what's going on. Your show is better than any safety event I have seen this week. Thank you, Angela Roth. I appreciate that. Oh, lordy. I'm just not, I think that we're just better off just kind of hanging out this morning and really kind of going there. Listen, I'm not going to poo-poo on anybody's Cocoa Puffs, because that's not the gig this morning. But let's talk about this. Listen, people want to go to events. I get it. I just still have questions on placement of where you're having these events. That's it. That's my question this year. Last year was a question about pricing. This year is a question about what's going on with that in regards of, where you're having it. But hey, that's my question, and I'm sure the people are able to ask questions, and it shouldn't be a problem. And I know that people are tired of virtual. I get it. I mean, there's a lot of things there to talk about. So we can leave it at that. Believe me. Things to talk about for sure. Let's see. What do we got here? A lot of precautions at the Star Trek convention in New Jersey over the last weekend. I would only hope that it's at the same level in Austin. I mean, listen, as long as you're doing the right thing, that's going to be the fun part. I will tell you, at the events going on in Austin, great for them, great for the people that are there attending and all that, because there are people that are inside of this same world that you and I get to interact in. So, that's important. And then the other portion about the whole thing, as we're talking about this morning, is I will tell you, the people that are the event organizers, they don't love what I do, and it's okay. They're not supposed to, because here's been the thing. I've said this from when we started this particular show, and I will continue to say it. I think that it's a fair assumption that you and I can call out on the array of bullshit that we see inside of the industry. And when you're trying to nail people at $900 a pop last year for a virtual event, I'm going to call you out on it. And listen, there were people that were here during that time frame that were doing the same stuff and saying, I will never be involved with the group that is putting on the event in Austin. But guess what? When you get that one phone call, that one ring-a-ding, that one email, all that bullshit goes away. It's bow to the master, because that's what you're doing. Listen, I have stayed true to what we have talked about since day one here. There's going to be some things that I'm going to talk about that people are going to like. There's going to be some things that I'm going to talk about that people are not going to like, and that's perfectly fine. It is. And that's the other side of the equation. I want you, yes, you, mark this down, 26 minutes past the top of the hour on the show for September the 15th of 2021. We've said it before. I'll say it again. I want you to call me out on bullshit as well as we call out everybody else when it comes about. It's only fair. Because, listen, I'm not trying to commit safety treason here, but we need to talk about the things that are going on. And if something doesn't align, we need to talk about it all the time. And if we can't have the safe space to do so, what's the point? You see, you already getting me to go off on some other tangent this morning, but I appreciate all the messaging. And listen, I'm sure that this week out in good old Austin, Texas, and any safety event that you've seen all week, there's some good things going on. Let's not lie. There's some great speakers that are out there. There's some people that are out there that are knocking it out of the park. The problem that's going on right now, and let's just be realistic about it, there's so many individual speakers, presenters, and all that are out there that are professionals, that it becomes very kind of, you get lost inside of there. But sometimes, as you are aware, cream does rise to the top, so you'll see those things happen, and you'll see those things change as we go forward. But anyways, we can go into so many different other things as we're talking this morning. So let's get back on track. Let's get back on track.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, so Apple revealed new iPhones, iPad models, and improved Apple Watch. The new iPhone 13s appear similar to the predecessor, but features a stronger camera and processor. The iPhone 13 Pro and the iPhone 13 Pro Max features are the same, upgrade and similar look. The new phones will be released on September the 24th. The new iPads also have been better cameras and faster processing power. They will hit the market next week. Apple's new watch, the Series 7, has a 20% larger screen than its predecessor and a slicker, more rounded design. It also is less likely to crack and more resistant to dust. Yeah, I need you to be dust resistant. Let's not forget about that. According to the release, no word on the date for the watch release. So there you go. So are you looking into these new Apple products? I'm just asking the question now because it's become a very interesting topic. For sure, as we are talking on this lovely morning. Anyways, finance firm Finance Buzz is offering a lucky horror flick fan the opportunity to watch 13 differently budgeted scary movies to settle the debate whether bigger bucks brings home bigger scares. To determine how the finance effect the capacity will generate, the horror heart rate analyst will review 13 predetermined films made with big, mid, low budgets. Then will be equipped with a Fitbit to track the heart rate. The chosen individual will require to watch the films on at least between October the 9th to October the 18th. Why so much time? I believe that I can knock that out relatively quick. And will be compensated $1,300 and a $50 gift card to fund the movie marathon. Applications are due on September the 26th, and the winner will be selected on October the 1st. The company is calling the scary study the Fright Fest. Well, I think it's a good titling for it, for sure. That's some stuff to think about as we are talking this morning. Would you be interested in the Fright Fest? I'm sure as shit already interested in the Fright Fest, and we already just started talking about it. Anyways, the numbers of weekly pediatric COVID-19 cases fell short of the pandemic record on September the 9th with 243,000 cases. According to the latest report from the American Academy of Pediatrics, nearly 500,000 pediatrics cases added from August the 26th to September the 9th, a 240% increase since late July. Overall, 5.2 million cases have been reported in children, with cases of severe illness and being uncommon. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on there as we are speaking. Anyway, so let's get it moving and grooving, and let's get our friend Johnny Smalls inside of here and let him tell you about the Market Minute.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Wednesday, September 15th, 2021. Equity markets pulled back a bit Tuesday despite a cooler than expected read on consumer inflation. The CPI index gained only about 0.3% in August versus an expected gain of 0.4%, dropping 0.2% from the previous month. The data brings the year-over-year gain down to 5.3% and the lowest level in 2 months. Investors remained cautious because, despite the cool down in inflation, the pace of inflation remains high and poses a threat to the economy. Later in the week, traders will be eyeing the Empire State Manufacturing Survey, as well as the Philly Fed's Manufacturing Business Outlook Survey, and the August read on retail sales. All three indices are expected to show a contraction of activity over the past month, and that could weigh on the S&P 500 prices. The index remains near its all-time high, but is in danger of a correction. A move lower would break support of the short-term moving average and may lead to a much deeper correction. You can get the inside track at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one for sure, as we are hanging out this morning. It is 32 minutes past the top of the hour. Let me give you some information that we found on our end. So let's go over there. Wall Street traded lower on Tuesday as the Dow plummeted 292 points, the Nasdaq dipped 67 points, and the S&P fell about 25 points. The data released during Tuesday's session showed inflation was moving at a 5.3% annual pace in August. This was the lower rate than had been reported in recent months. Apple lost about 1% as the company announced new devices as its annual product launch event. So I'm wondering, do you think that Apple lost 1% because people are still expecting the flippy foldy phone? And it has been rumored for years at this particular point, rumored that they're supposed to have some kinds of lenses or Apple glasses coming out, and they haven't come out yet. I mean, I will tell you that I took a deep dive yesterday after having that conversation about the Ray-Bans that Facebook is putting out, and took a look into the Snapchat, or the Snap spectacles and the array of stuff that those things are able to do. And it's pretty amazing, just some of the stuff that you're able to pull off with those things. I'm just taking a look around. I will tell you, as the VR and AR technology continues to increase, when we start seeing these things go into fruition out there inside of the real world, and we start doing some of the safety components that we can do on them, it'll be interesting to see on how they end up working. Anyways, Tropical Storm Nicholas knocked out power for half the million customers along the Gulf Coast on Tuesday morning. The storm, downgraded from a Category 1 hurricane, made landfall early yesterday along the Texas coast, dumping more than a foot of rain on areas. There you go. Nicholas is predicted to hit Louisiana today. The National Hurricane Center warns life-threatening flash flooding across the deep south through the rest of the week. Just 2 weeks ago, Hurricane Ida wreaked havoc in Louisiana on the East Coast. So think about that as we are talking this morning. Just some other stuff real quick as we are going to. A new biotech company is hoping to resurrect the woolly mammoth by 2027. Yeah, not joking there. Colossal, which launched Monday, is focused on extinction and wants to develop the de-extinction library of animals, as well as housing genetic DNA, embryos, and endangered animals. The company co-founder, biologist from the Harvard Medical School, a tech entrepreneur, has $15 million in the initial funding of the project. So there you go. Can you think about that? The woolly mammoth, all of a sudden you're hanging out and you're seeing one of those things. That's kind of fun to think about. So we're going to run into a problem today. So let's talk about this, because we already kind of know this is how this is going to happen. We're already late. We really are. So we got some more news stories for sure to talk about. So I don't know. Do we drop into a main story? I think we can, but I always think it's funny on how this actually works. So this will be the abbreviated main story today on the Rated R Safety Show.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about it because we need to talk about it right away. All the fun stuff, all the fun things that we can do during a safety meeting. Yes, during a operational meeting, during an organizational meeting, and all that kind of fun stuff. So we're going to, like I said, it's going to be super abbreviated, so I apologize about that because we did run long, and those are the things that happen. But I want you to think about this. I want you to think about child's games. Children playing and all that kind of fun stuff. So, from time to time, we're able to do some interesting stuff inside of organizations as we're doing some meetings, as we're doing some things that are hanging around and all that fun stuff. But why is it that we think that we can actually do children games, child play, if one might call it, inside of organizations, inside of the boardrooms, inside of the C-suite, and expect, to have some kind of solution. Now, don't get me wrong. If you look over here and you're hanging out on the video streamer, I have a Jenga stack that's right there. But the Jenga stack is something that I use during presentations. It's not like I'm actually going around and asking people to pull from it. So when we get into the boardroom level, and we start having these conversations and we start going, talking to people and say, hey, let's do this, that, and the other. Why is it that people think that it's okay to bring childlike games inside of there? I was at an organization, and this is no joke, and they busted out with Twister. Now, I am not sure if it was with the child game intentions behind it or if something else was going on. That's one thing. But Chutes and Ladders is not a game to be playing inside of a boardroom if you're supposed to be having these serious conversations. Now, I want you to think about this. Think about what the average boardroom person makes and the thousands of dollars that is being spent in moments as somebody's playing this game inside of there. I mean, I'm just saying, Chutes and Ladders, Candyland, all that kind of fun stuff. So just some stuff to think about. So I always look at this and I go, if you're going to do stuff, what things are acceptable to do? And we can talk about that from the boardroom to the construction site and so on. Because here's the thing. When you're on a construction site, are you going to bring a board game with you for you to start doing stuff? Like, seriously. That's some things to think about. There's some things that you have to think about as we're doing a lot of the things that we do. And it becomes a very difficult conversation from time to time on what is acceptable and what is not acceptable as you're doing these things. So, I don't know. I'm sure we could have went much longer with that, but I want you to think about that. What do you see as the perfect case scenario when you're doing these things? What is the perfect case scenario when you're getting everything set up? Just something to think about. Well, what the hell do I know? Maybe child's play is a good thing for some, but not for all. I'm just a guy behind a microphone, aren't I?
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You're listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
A different face and posting on their feed. They're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend I'll stand up for you.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. And they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, the Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what could be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you. Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants. Okay, there you go. It is 43 minutes past the top of the hour. This is Lepton Falls by Uy. Yes, I did say Uy. This song's readily available on Spotify and iTunes. So there you go. Anyways, let's get moving and grooving and start talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world of the mix, and go from there. So here's the fun part. I have to tell you this because this happened over the weekend. I was actually hanging out with a group of safety professionals, and let me rephrase that. I was hanging out virtually with a group of safety professionals, and they started talking about some of the things that they were doing inside of the world, and that's perfectly fine. And all of a sudden, and I don't know why, because I haven't done anything with this for a while, they started talking about Around the Safety podcast. And I was kind of impressed because we haven't done a show of that in a while, because we started running into issues with obtaining podcast information from other shows, and a lot of people didn't like it. Like, I even went as far as that some people were like, you're taking our stuff out of context. It's a clip show. What do you think's going to happen? Of course, you're going to have some stuff that's going to come out of context. I mean, that didn't make a lot of sense to me on when people were saying that, because if it's a clip show, you can't play the whole thing because it's a clip. So regardless if you grab a clip, it's going to be out of context. So just think about that. So I don't know. Been thinking about what should we do. I mean, I think we have enough shows here on Safety FM that we can actually do a whole Around the Safety podcast just based on that. But then I just don't know if you really want to hear Around the Safety podcast related strictly to only Safety FM channels or show. So there you go. Think about that. We can talk about that at a later time. Anyway, so let's continue talking. Getting yourself all worked up. Disconnecting from work after a long day is an important way of relieving stress. But what about reconnecting to work? Yes, you did hear me correctly there. That may be just as important, at least from success standpoint. Researchers at the Portland State University found that heading into work each day with the right mindset is key to having a productive day, especially for managers and leaders managers and people who are in leadership roles. What does reconnecting to work involve exactly? Usually it consists of reminding oneself that day's agendas and goals and considering any possible situation of problems that you might encounter before the end of the day. It can be done during breakfast, during your commute, or even while you're in the parking lot heading into the office. The researchers found that on days managers were able to reconnect before starting, they reported a better mood, improved focus, and more success throughout the day. And not only that, but by adopting this routine, it helps employees set the tone for the rest of their day and achieve greater work results. So some stuff to think about. But here's the question that I would ask, because it doesn't really go into a lot of it. What if you work at home? You don't have that time. So would it be the time that you sit up and then you walk into your designated office inside of your home? I mean, I'm just asking. That's just something to think about. Anyway, so if I started thinking about all the problems I might encounter before the end of the day, I'd probably never show up to work in the first place. So that's one thing. And of course, there will be a reconnection fee because, who doesn't charge a reconnection fee at this point?
Duh. More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so there you go. Interesting stuff there for sure. So I'm going to put it to you this way. This whole thing about the Scary Movie Spectacular thing that we were talking about earlier, I just got the movies list sent over. Do you want to hear them? Because I'll share them with you. I have no problem with it. So here you go. The horror movie heart rate analysis is required to watch the following films between October the 9th through the 18th. So here are the movies. It's Saw, Amityville Horror, A Quiet Place Part 2, Candyman, Insidious, The Blair Witch Project, Sinister, Get Out, The Purge, Halloween 2018 version, Paranormal Activity, and Annabelle. So there you go. So if you do want to do this, because I'm just going to reference it one more time because the movies just got listed in, you have to go to financebuzz.com. That's financebuzz.com. And then go, the words have a dash in between each one. It's get paid to watch scary movies. So get paid to watch scary movies. So there you go. If you go in there, you can apply for it. Good luck. Believe me, I'm going to tell you this. If you do get selected to do this, I want to know all about it. I really do. I'm almost tempted to do it myself. Maybe I'll do that. So fine. So who pays for the therapy afterwards? Because that's going to be probably some parts of the questions that are going to come up. And scary or not, when I'm watching, they should be monitoring my salt intake, not my heart rate, because, some people have that whole level of popcorn of things to think about. And turns out when I said couldn't pay me to watch Get Out, well, I guess I was lying. And, I really think that if you do this, that heart rate monitor, if you do the Netflix and chills aspect of it, that might actually not really tell you the heart rate that you were really looking for in the first place.
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about, did you know men who mumble are turn on for women? What? Hold on. Men who mumble are a turn on for women. Yep. Scientists at the American Institute of Physics say that males who speak less clearly tend to be more attractive to the opposite sex because women see it as a sign of masculinity. What? Conversely, men find precise pronunciation alluring because it signifies femininity. What? Okay. I think, sometimes when we talk about some of these studies that go on, I have a lot of questions. That's for sure. I mean, I look at them and go, who said this? Can you please provide some more data as we are talking real quick? Anyways, let's talk about some other things going on inside of the world of the news. What is this? Britney Spears has deleted her Instagram. The singer is taking some time away from her social media in light of her successful path that she's been on and continues to be on, amongst, she told Page Six. Spears' attorney also confirmed that it was her choice to deactivate her app. Why? Okay, hold. I'm not getting this. Why are we making such a big deal when people are going away from this stuff? We'll talk about that more on Radio Big. If you want to come and hang out here at the top of the hour, not top of the morning, because it's definitely not top of the morning anymore. I've already been up for like 4 hours. What are we talking about here? So let's continue talking about some other things. Let's talk about what is going on. What happened back on this date? Let's talk about that because that's always important. So back on this date, back in 2008, the reality of the American mortgage crisis starts sinking when the Lehman Brothers filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. It was the largest company to go under in American history. The Dow Jones, you ready for this? Lost 500 points that day. 500 points that day. Do you remember that? It doesn't seem like a lifetime ago, but at the same time, it still seems like some of the reality that we're living in. So anyways, let's talk about some birthdays for today. Josh Richardson turns 28. Prince Harry turns 37. Tom Hardy turns 44. Jimmy Carr turns 49. Dan Marino 60. Lissa Vanderpump turns 61. Brendan Carroll turns 66. Pete Carroll turns 70. Oliver Stone turns 75. Tommy Lee Jones turns 75. And Gaylor Perry. Yes, Gaylor Perry. He turns 83 today, so there you go. A lot of birthdays going on first thing as we are talking, and all that kind of fun stuff. If you're looking for some days to celebrate today, I got some of those for you. National Cheese Toast Day, National Linguine Day, National Felt Hat Day, National Double Cheeseburger Day, National Cream the Methe Day, National Tackle Kids Cancer Day. Well, I thought I was going to say National Kids Tackle Day because that would be interesting. National Neonatal Nurses Day, National Online Learning Day. Hold on, haven't we been celebrating National Online Learning Day for some time? Greenpeace Day, and it is also Yom Kippur. So there you go, a lot of stuff going on inside of there if you are looking around on some things to celebrate. Anyways, let me tell you about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, know that you are not alone. Hear about personal experiences from people in your local community whose lives have been impacted by suicide and depression. To find out more information, you can go to afsp.org. That's afsp.org, or call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255, or text the word TALK to 741-741. Not a joke whatsoever. Always important information as we are talking about that. If you are struggling with that or know of anybody who is, please don't hesitate. We need to take the stigma away from the conversation. Until we do that, people will not be willing to talk about it. Let's just be realistic and let's not lie to each other. That's just the case in point on what's going on. Anyways, let's continue talking a little bit more about some other things real quick before we get you the hell out of here. If you need some whack facts for today, believing that you slept well even if you haven't improves your performance. Not sure what performance, but it improves your performance. The old person smell is actually caused by a chemical called 2-noniol that older people secrete through their skin. It takes approximately 12 hours for food to entirely digest. If your last name is closer to the end of the alphabet, you're more likely to be an impulse spender. Well, I'm at the top of the alphabet, so I guess I'm not. About 40% of ants in a colony are lazy and spend most of their time just sitting around. ABBA is the only palindromic musical act that have been palindromic hit SOS in a palindromic genre of pop. Wow. That sounded a lot like stuff that I probably didn't care to know about, for sure. Seriously.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so here you go. If you're looking for some scoops of BS to know, Jennifer Lopez said in an interview that she's not a diva. In fact, just hearing that word sends such a shiver up her spine that it takes her personal masseuse about 2 hours to massage it out. The highly anticipated iPhone 13 launched yesterday. The new model is 20% lighter, 18% thinner, and about 100% smugger. A Harry Potter-themed cottage is available for rent in Ireland. It's all part of the experiment of offering up a night stay at a place where zero hookups take place. A study says that drinking more than 4 cups of coffee a day is bad for your health. It can cause heart problems, insomnia, and they brought Starbucks to bankruptcy. So there you go. Tom Hanks was voted most trustworthy celebrity. I disagree. I say Miley Cyrus because every day I trust her to do something stupid, and she never tends to disappoint.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, well, I don't make this stuff up. It just kind of happens in regards of what's going on. So tomorrow and Friday will be interesting days as you and I get to hang out. We'll see how it goes. We did send off 50% of the writers away. And that's not a joke. They're gone until Monday, 50% of them. So we're going to see what kind of tyranny of torture we can come up with as we are talking over the next couple of days. What am I going to do? So we'll talk about that as we are going forward and all that kind of fun stuff. Anyways, let me give you a random joke for today if you're looking for one. I just had to ask the gas tank, what did you do with the $20 I gave you? If you need a phone starter for today, try this one. What saying or expression do you find yourself repeating too often? Hey now. So there you go. If you need a question for the water cooler, how about you try this today? Women are 3 times more likely to do this at a movie theater. What is it? Oh, I probably can't use that one. Hold on. It's take their shoes off. Yes, that is exactly what it is. So some stuff to think about for sure as we are hanging out. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed so far what we have going on today. If you want to come over and hang out on radiobig.fm, I will be going over there in the next few minutes to go out, hang out, and do all that kind of fun stuff. So you're more than welcome to go to your browser and go radiobig.fm, and then we get to hang out together and do some things and all that kind of fun stuff. Anyways, thank you for taking a listen to what we have going on. You have been listening to the Rated R Safety Show exclusively on Safety FM and RadioBig.fm. Safety FM is the home of real safety talk. If Radio Big and Safety FM can't do what we do without you, the most important part, the listener. Without you, we can't do what we're doing here. Anyways, if I can leave you with a thought for today, I would love to leave